Welcome to people who are joining. This afternoon, we're going to be looking at the idea of mentally healthy families. So we're going to consider some ideas to boost well-being as a group. So this could be certainly as a family, but it could be any group really that people find themselves in, whether that be at school, or whether that be at work, or within sport or anything like that. But we'll use the term family. So we're thinking maybe about our time at home, but as I said, it can be expanded out from there. So first of all, just give people a chance to have a bit of a think and put some ideas in the chat. How does being part of a group help us? And that can be any group, or you can think of family, or you can think of another one. How does it help us in any way you can think of? It'd be great to have some ideas in that chat. I'll give you a minute to have a think and type some things in there. Yeah, absolutely. Someone else to talk to. Really important. Something we can take for granted, but is the key to a lot of our well-being and happiness, having someone to share things with, whether it be good, whether it be not so good. Any other things that being part of a group helps us with? Yeah, we get to play. We get to do things which we do need other people for. So a lot of sports are like that, a lot of games in lots of contexts. So yeah, we get to do that. It keeps us more comfortable. Yeah, having people around us can do that. So there are other things, of course, but maybe we take them a little bit for read, and we just, because we are in a group, we don't necessarily take a step back and look at it. But that's a good thing to do, to sometimes look and think what we can be grateful for in the group that we do have, and in our family or any other community from there. So this afternoon, connected to this, we're going to explore the ways to well-being which have been mentioned before in these sessions, see how they can be utilised from a group perspective. Each and every one of those things on the screen is shown to be good for our mental health and well-being. It makes us feel content, makes us feel like we have purpose. So we'll go through each of those: connect, be active, keep learning, give, and take notice. But look at these from the perspective of how we can do it as a group. Because a lot of the time, when we talk about these things, or things that are good for our mental health, we consider it from an individual's perspective. We think about how that can be good for us. But what we want to see here is how we can have a really powerful impact by doing it as a group of people within our family unit. So first of all then, be active is a key one. Any ideas about how we can be active as a family? So as a group, how can we be more active? Or what do we already do? Any ideas in the chat, please? Okay, yeah, go on walks, go to jog, yeah. And we can cook together, yeah. It can be at home as well as outside. Play catch, play together as a family, cycle. Yeah, these all might be things that people already do, or they're things that we might feel we could do a bit more of. And maybe this time in COVID has reminded us that lots of the things that are available, which in contrast to things that haven't been around, are those things that we can do with our family there. So yeah, a lot of what people have mentioned there is around exercise, which is really good. And doing that with other people can be really rewarding. So I've got two suggestions that are on the same theme of what people have said, but might be worth giving a bit of a go in our day-to-day lives. So the first one is this thing called Awe Walk, which sounds, what's that? Well, when we hear the word awe, we might think of awesome. When something's awesome, it's brilliant. It's really almost overwhelming. So we've mentioned going outside and exercising. A thing that can be a really good way of boosting our well-being is when we do go for a walk. Sometimes we just take it as granted that we're walking around the block or our local area and we don't maybe pay much attention to it. So something that has been proven by studies that can really help boost our well-being is connecting with the emotion of awe and seeing things and being aware of how impressive they are, how great they are. So as we go out in our everyday lives, in our normal communities, that awe walk, which would be a great thing to do as a family, and see how many things that we can spot which impress us, which are great. And some of the really day-to-day things that we might always just walk past and not notice can stand out when we're paying particular attention to them. And also, this fits in with what people are saying, and there's some great ideas still coming through as well, like going to the park, doing stuff at the gym, is get off a stop early. If we use transport together, like a bus or a train or a tram, depending on where we are, to build in some extra exercise, get off a stop early or do something which can just be 5 or 10 minutes extra, because a lot of the time we're busy and we might not think there's any time to do that. We might get home and then think, I've got something else to do, or we only feel we've got time very limited. So when we're already moving, but we're doing it perhaps via transport, we're not exercising as we do it, see if we can stop that early and get off and walk. Or if we're driving, maybe, because that can save us some time, get out at some point, park up and go into the park or something like that. But as a family, we can think about how nice that is coming together. And the key with most of these things is to make it a priority, to say, actually, we're going to reserve some time for that. Yeah, have an exercise meeting. It's been mentioned in there as well. Do something where we're active and we can do it together. So that's ideas about how we can be active as a family. We've all come up with some there, and a couple of other suggestions that might be worth trying. This one, connect, maybe the one which we associate the most with family, but how can we connect as a family? Any ideas in the chat, please? Ways that we can connect with each other, things we can do to connect. Now, that exercise stuff is an example, but what else can we do? So we can, call our family, talk. Always important to do that. Do things together. Yeah, I think that's a really good suggestion, because the things that we might do on our own, is it possible to involve others? Is it possible to do that as a family? Is it a common interest we have, or we could introduce someone to an interest that we have? We might invite our family to something that we're doing. Yeah. And of course, family doesn't have to be those that we live with. It could be our wider family. And communication's been mentioned there again. So yeah, this is just the kind of thing I was hoping for. Here's some other ideas that might feed into that. Now, as a family, a way that we can connect is something that is a really powerful tool. People often do this on their own, though. At the end of a day, reflecting on 3 good things, 3 things that have gone well. And I do that myself, but I do it on my own. I write it down in my diary. So as a way of connecting with family or with a group, why not do that as an exercise together? It doesn't have to be every day. It could be once a week, once a month, where we get together and say, can we think of things that have gone well? As a family, individually, that's a way of connecting, finding out a little bit more about each other, becoming closer. And like has been mentioned already, and it's great that this is a theme, and hopefully as we leave this afternoon, we think, I'm going to make sure that I do this. Make the time to talk. Set aside some time and say, let's have 15 minutes where we do just talk about what's happened in our day, where we do connect. It makes us feel so much better when we feel that someone is there for us. And it can be easy to overlook when we're running at 100 miles an hour, doing lots of different stuff. Just taking that time to talk can be really important there. And we have try and live together happily, yeah, making those conscious efforts. But connection might be the one which we think is the easiest. We already do it, but always ways that it can be done a little bit differently and make it a big priority. Okay, our next one. How can we keep learning as a family? This is another one for our ways to well-being. Keeping learning, keeping using our brain, keeping active mentally. How can we do that as a family? What's our ideas in the chat, please? Okay, yeah, do something new together. Yeah, absolutely. And that could be lots of things. Yeah, it could be watch webinars like this, doing it together, keep learning, getting some ideas, because it's great having an idea on your own, but it's even better if you then share it with someone and you can look around and say, when you have a common experience, share what you know with others. Yes. Stay together, listen to what other people have to say and learn something from that chat. Yeah. Because depending on how big our family group is, it might be really big. It might be that we've got lots of brothers and sisters, aunties, uncles, grandparents, and there'll be lots of things that we can learn from them. It might be it's much smaller, and we could do something like there, work out maths problems together. Do something which one person might be trying to do on their own, but there could be someone within the family that helps with that. These are some great suggestions. I'll give it another minute to see if we've got any other ideas about how we can keep learning as a family. Has what someone's put down reminded you of something, or do you have a completely different suggestion? Okay, yeah. Work on something we're not good at. A problem shared is a problem halved. That's what people have been saying for generations. And it is true, isn't it? If you get a bit of help with it, much easier to deal with. And your family is someone that it shouldn't be difficult to ask for help from. We sometimes find it difficult in other areas of our life, at work or at school, to ask for help. We might feel that we should know the answer. In front of our family, it should be that we're able to ask. They'd like to help as well. So yeah, that helping each other there, I think that's a really good theme that people have put down as part of keeping learning. Helping. So a couple of suggestions from me, and we've kind of mentioned this, teach each other. So what do you have that you know a lot about that you'd be able to pass on to someone else? So you get the connection that we've mentioned earlier, but you also get the opportunity for someone else to learn a bit more. So if I was doing that, say, with my brother, he knows a lot more than me about, we both really like history, and he knows a lot more than me about some parts of history, and I'll know more than him about others. So we kind of naturally keep learning by speaking to each other about that and saying maybe a book we've read or a film that we've watched that's related to it. So teaching each other could be informal like that, or it might be with something like maths or something that's a subject at school that actually we're saying we can teach maybe our mum or dad, our guardian, our brother or sister, whoever, to say, this is what I've been learning in geography, and so on. Yeah, it could be with helping each other, as we've got here, that we give some helpful criticism, some constructive criticism. We keep learning by getting that feedback, which can be really supportive, yeah. Now, here's one that I wish I'd done when I was much younger, but I've just started looking at it. If you've got that thing in common, that it's your family, a really good activity to do together can be to explore your family tree, to look at where your family has come from originally in terms of who was in it, where in the world that we're from, what jobs people did. Because we've all got that in common, and we'd all want to see, because it's something we have connected. And that can be a really great exercise, from going online to doing some initial research to making some trips to go to records offices, all of that kind of thing. So there's a couple of ideas related to that. And another suggestion in the chat is practice over again if you get something wrong. Yeah, keeping learning. That might be that someone can help you with that, give you a different perspective, and learn different languages. Could be in our family group that we have someone who speaks a language that we don't. It might be that they learned something at school. They speak French or Spanish or German from that. Or it could be that someone in the family has picked up a language either from their heritage or from visiting somewhere. So great way of learning that would be through them. Or what a great activity for everyone to say in the new year, or why wait to the new year, do it now. We're all going to learn a language together. We're going to experiment with that. So yeah, keeping learning, and the more that we talk about keeping learning, the more ideas we get. As we're doing that, it feels good to get an idea that there's loads of things that you can do, and you're almost thinking, oh, I want to start doing that now, which shows us how important keeping learning does, and keeping mentally active like that. Okay, our fourth is, how can we take notice as a family? So taking notice of what's going on around us, of connecting with things that are day to day, that maybe we might rush past, but just take a moment to take notice. So how can we do that as a family? It might be a bit different to the other ones. So I'll give you a moment to think and put something in there. Okay, yeah, so we could include, have people take notice to see who is included, who isn't, how we might be able to do that. That's a good one. Yes, staying together. It's a good start here, thinking about taking notice of that group. That's really good. Walk and look at what's around you. Yeah, that's an overlap with our being active, with our connecting. The best things for our well-being, whether it be as families or as individuals, are ones that go across lots of those different things in the ways to well-being. So if we can manage to strike 2 or 3 or 4 or more at the same time, then that's really effective. Any other ideas about how we can take notice as a family? Yeah, never make someone feel outside. Notice them also. Yeah, absolutely. And we should be thinking along those lines if we're caring about other people. Watch what's in front of you. Yeah. The things that maybe each day we go past and we don't stop to pause and consider them. And that can be things, objects, just as well as it can be people. And we could play games, yeah, like I Spy, how many cars can you see? The or walk that I mentioned earlier, could turn that into something. We've got our community around us, which we often walk around and don't notice. So we could say, tell you what, while we're taking a walk up to the shops or to the park or to school, how many of this phone boxes will we notice? How many traffic lights, whatever that be? And that just gets you connected with something that's not what you usually do, but she's all around you. And then you start to think, wow, actually, I do live in an interesting place, wherever it is. Yeah, spending time together comes as a core of that. A couple of ideas then for you with take notice. Some people might keep their own diary, like I mentioned I do. I'll write things down about what's happened in the day and reflect and plan a bit. But we could keep a group diary, and that's not the same as one that you'd keep privately, but it could be that people write stuff down that have happened to them and it gets shared and put on the fridge or on a big piece of paper or just in a notebook, whatever it is. A group diary where we take notice individually, but then we see what others have seen, and that prompts a conversation as well. And another one is to just sort of change the routine can help us take notice. We think about our journey to and from school or work, or we think about what time we have dinner, or we think about what we might have for dinner, and things like that. changing the routine can be really impactful to make us notice the difference, and maybe think about maybe how grateful we are if we're waiting a bit longer for something. We value it more. So that's a way of taking notice, but that one's always sometimes a bit more tricky for people to think of, because we've got to step out and start taking notice before we realise how important it is. And here's another one here. Make suggestion boxes, have meetings and look at the suggestions in your meeting. Yeah, fantastic. Similar thing to the group diary, but keeping people not only connected, people would keep learning from that, and also take notice of what other people have said, as well as other things that are there. We've had some fantastic suggestions here, all things that I reckon someone else reading would be able to think, I might try that. So that's really good as well, that we've been able to give that to each other. Stop and look at what's around you. Yeah, maybe get a couple of minutes a day. It doesn't have to be long, where we just say, let me take notice. Let me take a breath and just see what's around me, rather than going straight to the television or a phone or something else. That can be something that has a lot of benefit. So our final one of the 5 here is give. So how can we give as a family? This could be the family giving to others, or it could be how we give to others within our family. So I'll give us a minute or two to think of some ideas that might go in there. Yeah, always treat others nicely and let them have a turn. If we take notice, that can help us take notice as well. Who's being included, who isn't? Let's make sure we do that. We might give food to someone poor. Yeah, we might help our neighbours. Might look outside of our household, our home, and think, how can we give as a family? What can we do? And yeah, that comes with sharing the things we have. It might be that you have something in your possession that someone else in your family might benefit from. Being kind comes into that really well. Yes, definitely. Make surprises, but in a nice way. Yeah. Everyone, we love surprises, things that we're not expecting, as long as they're nice, as you say, rather than something that is a shock. So yes, absolutely. Can give presents, sharing our love, appreciating each other, absolutely. And we may do this a lot with our family anyway, but this now might be just a reminder for us to do that more often. So that's terrific. I'll just give it another minute if people have got other things there. All great ways that we can give as a family, to those in our family or as a family to people outside of it. Okay, yep, sharing our relationship there. Got helping others, absolutely. So I'll give a couple of ideas here that are linked in giving as well. Write a letter of gratitude. So if you're grateful for something someone in your family has done, we might forget to tell them. We might see them every day, so we might just not get around to saying thank you. So like was mentioned earlier, the idea of nice surprises. Imagine how nice it would be if you got back and there was a letter addressed to you, and you opened it, and someone in your family who you care about a lot has written to you saying how grateful they are for something you've done or what you do. That would really make them feel so happy, and it would also make you feel happy as well, because you feel a connection with them and you know that it would be good for them. So that can be something, but that links in with other ones that have come up here. Do someone else's chores for them. Give cards to learn more about a family. Do something for someone. Yeah, so making that big effort there, and that links in with my other one here, just those random acts of kindness, things which maybe we don't have a reason for. Sometimes we'll be nice because we feel like we owe it to them, and they've done something nice, so we'll do something nice, and that's great. But doing something just randomly because it's a nice thing to do is a wonderful surprise for the person who's getting it, a bit like that gratitude letter. but also it makes us feel good because we've done something nice. So yeah, we can give as a family like that as well. Now, all of these things, as they come together, if I just go back really quickly to the beginning, should have put that in there. There we go. We've got all of those 5 things there: connect, be active, keep learning, give, and take notice. Just as we come to the end, I just want people to say, which of those do you think you could do more of? Which of those 5 things in well-being as a family do you think you could do more of? Okay, so we've got one give. We've got to connect. We've got to keep learning. There's a bit of a range here. Take notice. And we've got to be active there as well. So that's interesting that different people look at them in different ways and do more or less of different things depending on it. But there's a bit of room for growth for everyone within that. So what we'll finish with, I go back through here, based on all the things that we've had, what's your plan? What's one thing that someone else has suggested, whether that be me or another person in the chat? What's one thing that you can do which you don't already do? And that can be your plan to say, I'm going to do that, which will help my family's health and well-being. Pop them in the chat. I'm really interested to see what you pick. Okay, yeah, admire the view, take notice, yeah. Yeah, pay attention when the family are talking, don't be distracted. Share stuff more often, good, so we've got a give one there, we've got a take note, couple of take notice ones. Any others from people? Something that's a plan they're going to do maybe tonight or maybe tomorrow, or do it every day? Okay, so we're thinking about the surprises there. Be kind, yeah. Good one to have in mind, absolutely. Just half a minute if anyone's got any others that they're going to share. Okay, yeah, listen more. Good stuff. Well, that's it from me. Hopefully there's ideas there that will make you think about what we can do as a family to be mentally healthier, to look after your well-being and your happiness. Lots of great suggestions from there that people can learn from. And I'll say thank you for your time and good luck with everything going forward as we get towards the Christmas break and then into a new year, and lots to look forward to there. Thank you.